How well did I do at my first Rubik's Cube competition? What did I average back then compared to now? Did I fold under the pressure or did I excel in the moment? Well, in this video, we're going to find out. This was it. This was my first competition, and this was my first official solve. It wasn't even on 3x3, it was on 5x5. We just happened to be in Ohio when we saw this competition and figured, yeah, might as well add this to our schedule. Thinking back, it was probably not a wise idea to sign up for a competition with only 20 people and a very difficult field as my first competition. The cutoff was 3:30, so I was just really hoping to make that, which I knew I was gonna make because I averaged about 2:45, but I ended up with a 3:01, so I was just glad I made cutoff. So now this means I'm going into my second solve with no pressure and I can relax and solve normally, which means I probably would get a better time since I'm not that panicked. For some reason, the thing I was most excited about was the display timers. I'd only seen them in competition videos before, and I never saw them in real life, so I was just looking forward to how cool they looked. I should have really been more excited about the competition itself, but it was still very fun, and I did have a very good time at this one. In 5x5, you can kind of just zone out and really focus on the solve, which might help you get faster times. And in this case, I think it helped me here, especially with first competition, the nerves. And locking in, I did get a better time than the first one, more average or as close to average as you could be if you're inconsistent. It was a 2:42. Now we're on to the third solve, and I was very happy with the previous two times. Even if the first one was a bit below average, I could do all 5 solves, and if I didn't get a very good time, I wouldn't be able to do the solve I'm doing right now. Even though I think I was pretty much last in this competition when it came to 5x5, I was still very happy with my results in 5x5. I can't tell you much about these solves because these solves are from a while ago, but I did feel like all the solves were pretty similar paced, and I was solving at a very similar speed on all of them. For all you new competitors out there, I highly recommend you go to one of these competitions because they are super fun, and even if you are dead last in everything, nobody really cares. Anyways, this solve ended up being the best one so far, finishing off with the A-perm and a 2:37. With the two pretty good times for the last two solves, I wasn't too worried about counting the 3:01. Even if I did, I still think I would be fine with the average. That means that I didn't really have much pressure going into this solve, and also I wasn't even that worried if I got a bad time. Just pretending like the solve you're doing right now is just a normal practice solve might help with you if you do have nerves. I don't really have nerves. I actually do better in competition than at home. Like I said before, I averaged around 2:45 at the time, but I could basically get any solves from 2 minutes to 3 minutes, which is kind of weird. And also, like I said before, the solves of this average were very consistent. I struggled a bit with the PLL there, especially, but I still got a 2:42. For the last solve, the display didn't work, so I had to add in the timer so it'd be more clear about what the time is. Also, the display is kind of blocking the cube, so sorry for that. I knew that if I could get one more solve in the 240s range, then the average would be very good as I wouldn't have to count the 3:01. But again, I didn't try to think about it because that could possibly ruin my time, and I just wanted to have a fun time and solve the cube normally without any pressure. I guess that's the main thing that can help you out with competition nerves, if you just pretend that you're not actually at a competition and just lock in and solve the cube. And I get to PLL, recognize the A-perm, start doing the algorithm, finish the algorithm, stop the timer, and it is a 2:39. This left me with a 2:37 single and a 2:41 average. Yep, my very first solve at 3x3 wasn't recorded, but as you can see, it was a 16.7. So that's pretty anticlimactic. But the second solve of 3x3 I did was actually recorded. I did yellow across the solve. I don't know when I actually became dual color neutral, but it's not that hard to become dual color neutral. It's just the same colored pairs except you swap white and yellow around. My goal was just to get one sub 20 solve because I didn't know how I'd perform in competition, but as you see, that was a 17 and the previous solve was a 16, so it was pretty good. So going into solve 3 with a counting 17, I felt really good because again, my goal was only to get one sub 20, and now I have a sub 20 counting, which means that I could get a sub 20 average if I focus enough. But I didn't try to think about it, which is probably why this time was pretty good. It was another 17. Now with that other counting 17, it means there's pretty much no way I can screw up badly enough to not get a sub 20 average, but you know, screwing up badly is possible in competition. At this point in the competition, it felt like everything was going by very fast because I just did 5x5 and now I'm doing an event that is much faster that I've never done before. I got an 18 on the solve. And now for the final solve of the competition, I secured a sub 20 average already, so it didn't really matter to me what happened on the solve, but it still was very great. Part of the reason was, again, probably because there was no pressure on me in the situation. But you see here, I do the OLL PLL skip 13.5. That is crazy for my first competition. That was a crazy single, and the average was also 17, which was pretty good for me at the time. But anyways, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in our next video.